OG Anunoby's contract demands may have just been revealed as a rival NBA executive believes that Anunoby is going to try to break the bank and get a massive contract extension from the New York Knicks this summer. So let's break this down, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because OG Anunoby is going to try to break the bank with the New York Knicks, says an NBA rival executive. And now this is obviously huge news because prior to this, we have never heard anything about OG Anunoby's contract extension since he got traded to the Knicks from a reputable source. We haven't heard it from Ian Begley. We haven't heard anything from Woj. We haven't heard anything from Stephen Bondy. We haven't heard anything from Shams. We haven't heard anything from anyone who actually has real connections with the New York Knicks. And that being said, now we're hearing something that isn't the most reliable of sources. No, but it's also not some random guy. It's not like it's some guy who's like, it's not like it's me breaking the news or something, like some fan or something. No, what we're seeing is a rival executive from the Eastern Conference who believes OG Anunoby is going to try to get massive money from the New York Knicks. And this is the reasoning that he had. So what he said was he will try to break the bank there. Why not? They can't afford to lose him. No max deal or anything. But I think from his side, it's going to look more like $40 million per year, something like 4 years and $160 million. Now, obviously, that is a massive contract for OG Anunoby, who does have career averages of around 15 points per game, but he does play some of the best defense in the NBA. These contracts are more common now, even for guys who maybe aren't all-star level players, but it's still a lot of money for OG Anunoby. But the executive's right. The Knicks can't afford to let OG Anunoby walk. We traded RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly for him. Now, look, RJ's breaking out in Toronto, something that never would have happened in New York with the way the rosters are constructed. And I'm so happy for RJ. I have an RJ Barrett jersey hanging right where my hand's pointing. You guys can't see it, and I don't really feel like turning my computer so you guys can see it. But I do have it because I love RJ Barrett. I'm happy he's breaking out. I love Emmanuel quickly. I'm happy he's doing well in Toronto. But the thing is, OG Anunoby's the best player out of those three. This is not now a lose for the New York Knicks or a loss for the New York Knicks that they're going to have to pay OG $40 million. For anyone who's going to say, oh, well, maybe they should have just kept RJ and IQ, first of all, 15-2 when OG's playing. Second of all, RJ has that $30 million extension. IQ's not taking less than $10 million. IQ's going to get over 20 most likely. And with that being the case, it's still going to be more money for the Raptors for two guys who maybe aren't OG Anunoby good, but RJ's very close. Quickly's pretty close also. And Quickly's probably going to be the best player in the trade when everything's all said and done, in my opinion. But this is still the guy that the Knicks wanted and needed to make them get over that hump, and it's absolutely shown to be true. It was a good move for both sides. The Knicks are in good position. They can afford to give OG Anunoby this money. It's not like it's going to throw them past the second apron. Yeah, things might get a little bit more weird with contracts and all, but the Knicks can work around it. They know they're going to have to pay Jalen Brunson the summer after this one. That's fine. They can figure out a way to do all this. But here's the thing, guys. With OG Anunoby getting this contract, it will show something. It'll show that the New York Knicks truly think they have something to contend with because they will be so far over the salary cap. Now, again, it's not second apron far, but they're going to be getting close. They have a lot of money owed to Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo. Well, Devo's getting the mid-level exception, but still it's over $12 million with the way the NBA works now. And per year, that is, obviously. But, like, outside of that, we're going to see them still try to use that Bogdanovich contract and all their draft picks to make a trade for a star player. This does, however, make things interesting with a guy like Precious Achiuwa, who, with the return of Mitchell Robinson, with Isaiah Hartenstein needing to be paid, we could see the Knicks let him walk to save some money. After all, he is a backup power forward when all things are said and done and the Knicks are healthy, and you can't really pay a ton of money for that. But also at the same time, we have to question, is OG actually going to get this $40 million? Because if you look here, this was said the day after the Knicks got OG, which is the quote from Jake Fisher, who does know what's going on. He's tapped in, and he said, the Knicks didn't land Anunoby without an understanding of his own financial considerations. Anunoby held meetings with several agencies in the past offseason where he decided to leave Clutch Sports, telling potential representation that he was interested in a larger offensive role and would want a salary figure in the ballpark of $40 million in average and annual value. However, OG did leave those potential agents with the impression that he would be willing to accept a smaller figure if he were have to land it in New York, which is where he wanted to go. So that happened. OG Anunoby now wears this. Well, maybe not this exact sweater. This is mine. OG doesn't come over and take my clothes. And if he did, then I'd want him off the team because that'd be really weird. But on a serious note, with OG Anunoby, I think this could potentially be true. And I think less of it just like, oh, I'm in New York, screw it. Let me take less money because I'm happy. I got everything I wanted. I'll take less money because I get to live in New York. No, I don't think that's the case. I think it's the CAA stuff where I'm not going to say they're paying players under the table or anything, but they'll work something out. We know how Leon Rose operates. I just watched the first episode of The Sopranos for the first time, and I'm convinced that Leon Rose moves similarly to Tony. So, that's what I know. But, like, with the case of OG's contract, the Knicks are going to have to figure this out. They're going to have to figure out, do they actually have to pay him $40 million? They're going to figure out, or they're going to have to figure out, what else are we going to do? How are we going to make the salary cap work? It will make Brock Aller's job that much more difficult because the Knicks are going to avoid the second apron. They're just not going to go into it. That's not how they operate. That's not how Leon Rose operates. Not like Dolan cares about shelling out luxury tax money. He doesn't. But it's the fact that the Knicks like the flexibility to make trades. Leon Rose wants the flexibility. It's why the Knicks have, I think, the second or first largest analytics department in all of the NBA. The Knicks are doing everything so meticulously that they are going to figure out a way to get this done. I will tell you right now, I don't think OG's getting $40 million from the Knicks. The only way OG gets $40 million from the Knicks is if he uses another team as leverage and basically says, hey, who has money? The Pistons. The Pistons are offering me $45 million. You're offering me 33. Now, obviously, I want to stay in New York. I like New York better than Detroit. This team wins. But I'm going to need more money, or I am going to take the money and run. I'm going to take the extra $12 million per year with a lower tax value, so I'll get even more money from you, or from Detroit. So you're going to have to up my salary to 40, and I'll cut my losses and and stay with the Knicks because I have a rapport here. I'm close with you guys. I love living in New York. I don't want to go live in Detroit because it's not as cool as New York. And also, you're good, and the Pistons are a nightmare. So with that all being said, I do think that the Knicks can absolutely finagle their way into maybe not paying OG the max, but they're going to have to pay him a lot. I'm now convinced they're going to pay him near $40 million, but I still don't believe it's going to be $40 million. If you look here at his career stats, this is a reason to not pay him. He only averages 14.5 points with the Knicks, along with 5 rebounds and nearly 2 steals in the 17 games that he's played. But the Knicks being 15-2, him holding opponents to the low field goal percentage that he holds them to, 35, when he's the closest defender, as you're about to see in a graphic. But with that all being said, I think those stats are a reason for them to say, look, you're not an all-star, and we're looking for another all-star for this team. We're going to bring you back, but we cannot pay everyone all-star money. We've done a lot to bring you here. You might be the odd man out when it comes to getting a max deal. That doesn't mean we're not going to pay you, but you need to understand that if you want to win, you're going to have to take a little bit less money, the same way that Julius Randle did. And if Julius did it, OG can also, because they're both CAA. Well, not Julius anymore, but he was when he signed the contract. And something else to kind of be aware of, as Woj mentioned the other day, this is his article, and he said that OG's going to have he had the post-surgical flare-up in his right elbow and is expected to miss a few games because of it. He returned for 3 games following his February 8th procedure to remove a loose particle from his shooting elbow. Ew! And will need the elbow to calm down before he can return to the lineup. The timeline is currently unclear, but Tibbs did say that he had an MRI and that everything came back clean. Now, if you also look here, as Woj mentions, Anunoby arrived in December from the Raptors in exchange for RJ and IQ, and he's holding opponents to 35% shooting as the closest defender since January 1st, which is the best in the NBA among players to defend 150 or more shots. So it shows OG's one of the best, if not the best, on-ball defender in the NBA. I'd say it's between him. You got to put Kawhi in there and also Jaden McDaniels. With those 3 being the top 3 defenders in the league, defenders get paid. We saw what Jaden McDaniels got paid. Not Jalen. He's the tank commander for the Raptors. We saw what Jaden McDaniels got paid, and I think OG is going to look at that and be like, hey, he's not an all-star, but he's an elite defender. A-Rod and co. just gave him a ton of money. Where's my money? And the Knicks are going to have to shell out some money to do that. I think Jaden McDaniels' contract is going to help OG. I think it's going to harm the Knicks a little bit. but it's okay. You pay the man. You ask questions later. The Knicks need OG Anunoby if they want to win games. If they want to be a contender, they clearly need OG. He's made them look like an absolute NBA Finals contender when he's on the court, even in times when Julius isn't there, which is absurd. So pay OG, ask questions later. Brock Aller and co., obviously with Leon Rose, can figure this thing out. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Like, subscribe, comment. What do you guys think of this? This is huge news. Let me know down below, guys. I'll catch you later. Have a good day. Go watch March Madness after this, and go Knicks.